Assalamualaikum and good evening to my English lecturer Puan Akmalia binti Abdul Rahim and my fellow friends. My name is ILI Khadijah Hanis binti Zaki. My registration number is 33DI19F1030. I am from DEI3A. Today, I would like to present about the topic that we have been assigned to do in the previous week. So the topic for our presentation is how rice is being produced. First of all, I would like to introduce you guys about background of rice. As the main source of nourishment for over half of the world's population, rice is one of the most important commercial food crops. The annual yield worldwide is approximately 535 million tons. Secondly, 50 countries produce rice, with China and India as supporting 50% of total production. And over 300 million acres of ASEAN land is used for growing rice. Rice production is important to ASEAN culture, that oftentimes the word of rice in a particular ASEAN language also means food itself. Rice is a member of the grass family, Gramineae. There are more than 10,000 species of grass distributed among 600 genera. There are 3 different types of rice: Japonica, Javanica, and Indica. Japonica rice varieties are high yielding and tend to be resistant to disease. Javanica is the type of rice fall between Japonica and Indica varieties in terms of yield, use, and hardiness. Although quite hard, Indica less than Japonica types and are most often grow in the tropic. Secondly, I would like to present about the history of rice. Since it has been such an important gain worldwide, the domestication and cultivation of rice is one of the most important events in history. When and where the domestication of rice took place is not specifically taken. To the west, rice was also an important crop in India and Sri Lanka, dating as far back as 2500 BC and 1000 BC. The spread to Europe, Africa, and America are more slowly than ASEAN. Thirdly, I would like to present about raw materials that used for producing rice. Only raw material needed for commercial production of rice is the rice seed or seedlings. Addition used for herbicides, pesticides, or fertilizer can increase the likelihood of a larger yield. Then, design. Varieties of rice are selected and grown especially for their end use. In United States, long grain rice is typically used for boiling, quick cook products, and soup, whereas shorter grain rice is used in cereal and baby food and others. According to the statistic from the website below, the statistic depicts the production of rice in Malaysia from 2013 to 2018. In 2018, the production volume of rice in Malaysia total approximately 1.7 million metric tons. Rice is grown on the Malaysian Peninsula and on Borneo Island. About 300,500 hectares on Malaysia Peninsula and 190,000 hectares on Borneo Island are devoted to rice production. That's all from me. Let's listen from my partner, Nadia Husna binti Abain. Bye.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Nadia Husna binti Arbain. My registration number is 33DI19F1020. Okay, today I want to explain to you guys how rice is processed. Okay, rice is rice that has been processed and discarded. The rice will expand when cooked with water, which till then become rice. Rice with high starch content is known as glutinous rice or simple glutinous rice. Glutinous rice is more sticky than regular rice. If the amount of water used to cook rice is quite large, it will become porridge. There are various types of porridge made from rice, as well as other cereals. Firstly, how to rice produce. Rice varieties. Rice is available in about 14,000 varieties. The most widely used varieties in Malaysia are local white rice, Thai and Vietnam, Thai variant rice, Basmati rice Pakistan, and Indian Barrio rice. Glutinous rice and other special types of rice. Secondly, this is the process of processing rice into rice harvest. Rice is harvested when the moisture content of the seeds reaches 25%. Paddy crop in various rice fields are generally harvested by hand, but there are also those who use rice harvesting machines. Thirdly, separate the grain from the steam. Grain is separated from merang or padi by beating. Once again, modern agriculture is already using a lot of grain separator. More traditional farmers also do not directly separate the grain from the steam, but dry it first for about a week. For drying of grain. Before processing, the grain needs to be dry first until humidity reach 20%. 5. Grain mill. Wheat is ground to separate the rice husks from the rice. If only the husks is removed, the result is brown rice. If the lumpy is removed along with the husks, the result is white rice. In the modern grain milling process, there are two types of processing. The first process is a one-stage grinding. That is grinding the rice to husks and lumpy separate at the same time. The second process is two-stage milling, which is grinding rice to separate husks. Then grinding is again until separate chuck. 6. Blanching of rice. Rice is whitening with talc powder. However, in addition to the use of talc, the rice industry can whiten rice using a sulfur glucose powder. Final process, the rice is then weighed, packaged, and then ready for sale. Thank you.
Last but not least, before I end my presentation, I would like to show you guys a video about how rice is being produced. Enjoy!
Like grass when it's fully grown. Most of the rice we eat in the UK comes from India, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Pakistan, and Italy. People in these countries have grown rice for thousands of years. But actually, you can grow rice in most places as long as the plants aren't exposed to the cold. Rice grows in a paddy field. It's different to a field you might see in this country because it's usually flooded with water, which is just how the rice plants like it. The water protects the rice plants from extreme heat and cold and stops the weeds from growing by making the ground too waterlogged for them to take hold. Some rice fields are irrigated with water from nearby rivers. Others are rain-fed areas, containing water that falls during the monsoon season. The rice plants start their growing cycle in a nursery paddy field. After 1 month, the seedling plants are put into small bunches and transplanted to a larger field to allow them to grow to their full size. The ground in the larger paddy field is prepared for the seedling rice plants by ploughing. They use oxen to pull the plough through the waterlogged field. The small bunches of rice seedlings are then planted in the main field by hand. The seedlings are given plenty of space in the ground because the rice plants will grow to be around 1 metre tall. It takes 3 months for the grains of rice to develop at the top of the plant stalks. When the grains turn yellow and hard, it's time for them to be harvested. In this field, the rice has to be harvested by hand, so during the harvest, the paddy field is drained to make it easier for the workers. The farmers harvest the rice by cutting the stalks with a sickle. Next, they separate the grain from the stalks by threshing it. This is usually done by hand. In some places, the rice is spread out, like this, and the heat of the sunshine dries it out. But often, the rice is stored in large silos, and using dryers, they heat up the air to dry out the rice. Once the rice is dry, the rice grain is separated from the outer husk using this machine. Now it's ready to be placed into these 1-ton bags and transported to rice mills in Europe.